In anticipation of the planned 6-month water outages for Gauteng and Free State residents in October, builders encourage consumers to take proactive steps towards preparing for these outages, taking into consideration the long-term benefits of setting up water-saving solutions in their homes. Builders Merchandise Vice President Megan Gounden joins us now for more on this discussion. Megan, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. I mean, we do know that there will be that planned water outage, which will be taking place from October until March next year. How do we ensure that we don't find ourselves just like the residents struggling in the Northwest?
We thought that water is a scarce resource, and we really need to look at opportunities on how we really use water more sparingly. I mean, I don't know if you know, but between 25 to 30% of our water is actually wasted through just leaks and poor infrastructure. So, as residents, we need to find better ways of managing water in our own homes even. A leaking tap, by purely changing the washer, we could make a considerable difference in just saving the natural resource that we have. There's multitudes of different solutions that consumers can put in their own homes, from backup water solutions to rainwater harvesting, harvesting of rainwater using your guttering system, and then storing it, and then also using it for either watering your gardens or, cleaning up your homes. So there's multitudes of ways that residents can firstly, kind of save water and also prevent water lossages or loss in their own homes.
And of course, a number of Gauteng residents as well as those living in the Free State, in terms of preparing them to ensure that they do have sufficient water during the 6 months stipulated. How can they better prepare to ensure that, you do have drinkable running water in your home?
We learned a lot from the 2018 almost day zero in the Western Cape. Customers were absolutely scrambling at the last minute to purchase water tanks and some kind of storage devices. I really urge consumers to be proactive this time around. Make sure that, you buy the necessary water tanks or water storage solutions. You could buy from a 20-liter tank all the way up to 5,000 liters or 10,000 liters for that matter. And it's not only about just having it plumbed into your home. You could have it as a pure backup solution. So use it to fill municipal water, store it, and use it when you require. There are multitudes of solutions. You could have it plumbed into your home, install a pump, have it pumped through your entire home, and you really would not see any change in your water supply. But it is about consumers being proactive and finding solutions now that suit you. I've seen many consumers now recently installing borehole systems. We have to look for alternate water supplies rather than municipal right now. We know that the municipal supplies, we've got some aged infrastructure, we really have some challenges. And I know that the government's certainly working on improving this, but it's going to take us a while. And I think the 6 months that you speak of is exactly that. There is planned maintenance to improve the solution, but what do we do as consumers in the interim? We have to find alternate ways. And alternate ways means that we need to put in the necessary solutions in our own homes, whether it be tanks or other devices to store that water.
One can also say, the things you are mentioning in terms of installing tanks and water systems in your home, as well as looking at the alternatives of boreholes, it's really not cheap. How much are you looking at spending if you are a resident that may be affected by this planned maintenance?
Actually, there's some really cost-effective solutions. You could get a 1,000-liter tank, which is perfect for a family of 4, probably last year a good 4 or 5 days of water supply used sparingly. And a solution like that, just as a pure backup, will cost you only about 2,500 rand. And then you could get all the way up to a total backup solution, which is a tank, including a pump, including installation into your home, and that will cost you roughly about 15 to 20,000 rand. Builders has quite a few various options available. We even offer turnkey solutions. So you could have a system delivered to your home, and we'd have an installer come and install it for you. So really, really cost-effective solutions from all the way from 20-liter cans all the way to 10,000-liter tanks.
And what about those who have businesses? How do they manage this situation in terms of preparing for such?
Yeah. We've got 117 stores around the country, and 90% of our stores have garden centers. And we need water to service our plants in our garden centers. So we've installed rainwater harvesting systems, including storage tanks, and we use that water to service our plants. We've noticed that for last year, 2023, we've saved over 15,000 liters of water just by harvesting our own. So for businesses, it is obviously depends on the business that you're in. But harvesting water certainly can be used for certain applications only. If you want to make rainwater drinkable, there is a whole filtration system that you would require, including UV lights and reverse osmosis systems, which we also are able to supply. But just municipal backup can work. The 6 months outage that they speak of means that we will get into a system very similar to a load shedding schedule, where you would have water periodically over a period. There will be restricted flow. So it still gives you the ability to store when you don't have, and then harvest it when water supply does come back. So a water tank is going to become an absolute necessity. I remember a couple of years ago traveling to Kenya as an example. Kenya, almost every single household needed a tank for the very same reason. Water supply was just absolutely so scarce and limited. So you would only get supply for a few hours a day, and you had to store it if you needed it. And unfortunately, that's what we would have to do as well.
And what is your advice to those living in the Free State, particularly farmers? How do they navigate this issue in terms of, being prepared for having less water during the 6 months we're speaking about?
So, especially for farmers, I think it's really going to be challenging. We went through, a couple of years ago, droughts in various regions. We had food challenges and so forth. And that is really going to be extremely difficult to navigate. Again, depending on where you're based, depending on water tables, boreholes is a system, and we are able to get water at sometimes, this is more Gauteng based, but sometimes from about, 50 odd meters, we're getting water at the moment. So anywhere between 50 to 100 meters you could. The Free State region, I'm not 100% sure of what the table looks like, but bore certainly is a system. And again, just water storage, I would guess, for own consumption.
All right. Thank you so much, Megan, for your time this evening here in SABC News. That's the president, or the vice president rather, of the Builders Merchandise, Megan Gounden, just giving us tips there for residents living in Gauteng as well as those living in the Free State. And this is for the period from October this year until March next year, where, of course, we understand that there will be that maintenance that will be taking place, especially in that Lesotho Highlands project.